Time for another Monday Night Football Showdown. Saints-Chiefs tonight, a game that should be hopefully a fun one, and hopefully it won't be delayed an hour and a half and cause everybody to be up too late and now sleepy the next day here. We're going to do what we always do for a showdown there. We're going to look at the projections and the ownership projections with Stochastic. We're going to build out some lineups, optimize them to see what the math's going to drive people to using the Solver Optimizer. Going to hop over to Stochastic, sim out some stuff, going to hand build the lineup. We're going to do it all today. Let's get into it. And sorry for the late start. I'll talk about it later on because I don't want to be the DFS show that has a depressing anecdote to open up every video, but today's game, but I will talk about it because it is important for me to be human on the show, given I see you guys every day. You got New Orleans, though, 18.8 implied points. Kansas City, 24.3 implied points here. The matchup, to me, should be one good for the Saints pass game. KC defense on the year, giving up 0.02 EPA per drop back, 0.02 EPA per pass as well. Anytime you see the expected points added metric being a little bit higher for the defense than average, gives you a pretty good tell that you're going to be able to see an offense be able to produce more than they should, given the fact that the Saints are a pretty well-coached team, pretty well-strategized team. I do expect them to be able to get some results today, despite that low total. What that means is more of a kicking game. We'll see about it as we get into the projections. Chiefs side of the equation, Saints has been good on the year, giving up a low 62% completion rate, negative 0.2 EPA per drop back, rounded up negative 0.2 EPA per pass. Flat 0 against the rush would be basically league average. So obviously New Orleans, we talked about a lot throughout the course of the year. I've been one of few people out there that was not the biggest fan of the overall prospect of Kansas City over the course of the entire best ball season. Now we're seeing it where Rashee Rice being out, there's some concentration for some of the guys left behind your Travis Kelce's. The run game at this point, dilapidated. Kareem Hunt's probably your best option there. So look, I think it's a situation where the Chiefs could win this game. Obviously, they're favored by 5.5. They should win the game. Personally, I think playing the Saints winning this game somehow, stealing this on the road, I think is more appealing because I think the Saints have some upside that we haven't seen, at least in the last few weeks. Let's talk about the projections, though. We got Alvin Kamara, number one, a 20.7 projection for him, 1.8x value. Shout out Tyler for gifting a membership. I appreciate that. Morning Sports Squad. Shout out to all the nice chats as well. Now I can harass. Oh, there you go. Fucking Adam got the free membership out of all the people. I want only Adam to pay. I don't want Adam to get things for free. Kamara, though, your top protected player in the slate, as we talked about a lot throughout the course of this year, and even going back to last year. Alvin Kamara, one of the best roles in football in this particular game, one of the best roles as well. 4.8 intended red zone touches a game, 2.3 inside the 10-yard line. Comparison's sake, Kareem Hunt in his new role in Kansas City, 2 intended red zone touches per game, none inside the 10-yard line. So Kamara, we're talking about double the work. Jamal Williams still getting a good amount of work behind him, 2 intended red zone touches a game, 0.5 inside the 10-yard line. Kamara is a binary play. If you think the Saints do well, like I think I do today, I would say Kamara being one of your plays here at captain in the flex, going to look like one of the best plays. Of course, it being top projected probably picks up a good amount of captain ownership as well. Patrick Mahomes, an 18.9 projection for him here. A little bit less salary than Kamara, a little bit less projection as well. Travis Kelce at number 3, a 15.8 projection. So a pretty big chasm between Kamara, Mahomes, and Kelce. Given the fact Mahomes doesn't put up 20-point games that often in fantasy, taking Mahomes out, going to a Kelce, going to one of the other pass catchers, maybe Xavier Worthy, maybe Juju Smith-Schuster, but going to somebody who's a pass catcher over Mahomes, I think would be an appealing option here, given the dearth and projection between, or the difference between the two, rather. Kelce about 3 points and change behind Mahomes in terms of projection. Derek Carr's number 4, 13.6 projection on him. So really low for Derek Carr. Obviously not a high total. Now I expect a lot of touchdowns based off that Vegas total of, again, 18.8 points. But still for Carr, with how well he's produced on the year, dropping back. Well, actually only 26.8 times a game, not dropping back as much as I thought. Been efficient overall, 72% catchable ball rate, 0.15 EPA per pass, 0.15 EPA per drop back. When he runs, he's also got a 0.14 EPA, so he's doing something with it. Adam, it's not in time for a villain roll. I'll tell you why in a moment, but please no fucking asshole bits today. I'm not in the mood. Olave at number 5, though, a 13.6 projection to him. So you're probably going to get more Olave than Carr. You're probably going to get more Mahomes than you want. I would say flipping receivers over QB for KC would be the move. Flipping New Orleans receivers over QB for Derek Carr, probably going to be a move that gets more owned, would be my guess. Top values right now, according to Stochastic. Jared Wiley, a 0.8 projection on him. Mason Tipton, a 3.1 projection for him, getting some more workload lately. Kendre Miller, a 1.8 projection for him. Adam Prentice, a 0.9 projection. And Noah Gray, 5.5 for him. All these guys looking like top values. So you probably will see people playing a little bit more of the cheap tier guys. But Kendre Miller, I think, needs to be taken out of the projections. I'm pretty sure he's inactive for this game. At least the last that I saw, unless that's moved around. But that'd be one to watch here. Would probably add a little bit more projection. Jamal Williams, if that's the case, maybe a little bit more to Kamara as well. Anything else to note here? Juju Smith-Schuster, not a bad value, 2,800. McCole Hardman, questionable as of yesterday as well, at 1,200 if he goes. player you can play who they sometimes do design up end zone looks, red zone looks for. So maybe that's a player to get to if you are playing some KC dominant builds. Juwan Johnson, a guy who's been really pretty much all the games so far. No Taysom Hill in this one, so he should pick up some amount of the 21 snaps per game left behind. Yeah, I don't think Kendre's going, but he's in the projections right now, so they're erring on the side of caution, I guess. These guys here, all perfectly credible plays, none of them good plays in the traditional sense, so it's the main thing you're looking for here. Mason Tipton, just out of curiosity, how many snaps did he play? Mason Tipton played 29 snaps last week compared to Olave. Olave, 58. Shaheed, 57. Juwan, 50. Juwan played a lot of snaps last week. Like, I think Juwan, if I get paid off for Juwan, it's probably going to be more of a best ball thing for me. But for tonight, him playing 50 snaps last week, no Taysom Hill this week, game where you have to put up points, one where you expect the Saints to try to put up a little more production through the pass game. Like, basically, you know, it's this historical thing you do against the Chiefs. You're trying to score early, trying to get ahead of them so they have to play from behind. Maybe you force some mistakes and just don't get boat raced in the beginning. I think for the Saints, one way to do that would be Juwan Johnson getting a little more pass game success, obviously leaning on Alvin Kamara along the way. They're going to have to get a little more creative, though, because they have really leaned on Taysom Hill a lot more in the last few weeks. Showdown ownership, though, let's go to that. Oh, man. You got Kamara, number one, 71% ownership, 24% of captains. That's kind of crazy to see, given that this is a game where, again, the Chiefs are a 5.5-point favorite. Look, I believe what I believe about the Saints. It hasn't been the case for showdowns, but you guys might have noticed it yesterday. I've talked about it the last couple weeks as well on the Sunday videos, and I've been able to do those. Of course, at a wedding this weekend and some other stuff, which again, I'll talk about. But basically, for right now, I don't think it makes sense that Kamara be the chalk captain. Like, you want to play a KC captain if they're the big favorite. You want to play Mahomes captain. You want to play Kelsey captain. You want to play even Kareem Hunt at captain. If the Saints are an underdog by that much, I don't think he should be represented at captain this highly because the game script to flow away from it if the Vegas total hits. So right away, that's a little bit of a weird one. I don't want this to push me towards more Chiefs dominant builds because, again, I think the Saints win this one outright. But the Vegas total is a Vegas total. You follow the Vegas total. That's the best thing you do for yourself in DFS generally. So odd to see Kamara projected to have this much ownership. That's a lot of captain ownership for an underdog on the road. An underdog RB on the road at that. Does pick up the Taysom Hill work, so that might be a little bit of part of the equation there. Patrick Mahomes at number 2, 67% ownership, 16% of captain. Travis Kelce, 54% ownership, 13% of captain. Wish that were a little bit lower. As I've mentioned enough times, I think Rashee Rice being up here was making Kelce go down here. The second Rashee Rice left the game, we saw Kelce have his best performance. That's what I think it is. The underneath routes are Kelce's to earn, Kelce's to own. So to me, him being a captain play and what we expect of the Vegas total here, we're 5.5-point favorites. It should be Kelce at captain a little bit more, I would think. Especially over Mahomes too. Like Mahomes, I mean, is he going to chop up production with Kelce, Worthy? Like you're kind of going dog shit receivers. It's possible, but Mahomes captain to me, if it's going to be 16% owned, I probably wouldn't want that at all. Olave at number 4 here, 40% ownership, 10% at captain, and Derek Carr, 38% ownership, 3% at captain. So we're seeing a good amount of ownership for these top guys here. Derek Carr, to me, if you go with him at captain and he does lead a pass game that can beat the Chiefs, that puts him at bay, you stack him up with Olave, Shaheed, Kamara, even whatever you want to do there. I think that's a pretty obvious way to go with that. QB captains are tough to hit, but Carr, we know, has the upside to do it. Under 5% owned in a game script where I think he has to drop back as much as he'll have to drop back all year. I like Carr captain enough, but we'll see what we get in the optimization of the Sims. Lower owned players overall. Mecole Hardman, we talked about that. Could definitely get some work. Jamal Williams, direct leverage against Alvin Kamara. So he'll get enough red zone work that maybe he punches in one touchdown, takes that touchdown away from Kamara. It allows him to make a lineup and maybe keeps Kamara at least out of the captain spot. That's one way to kind of play the game theory of that. Carson Steele under 7%. Foster Moreau under 7%. Kendre Miller under 6%. Sky Moore, maybe, under 6%. Mason Tipton lower. Cedric Wilson, who is a guy that I would watch out for if he's active. He's a guy that in the past was operating as a starting slot. Obviously, at this point, we haven't seen him get a ton of work, but he's still somebody getting 20 snaps a game. I think last week he was out, right? Now, Cedric Wilson was hurt last game, and he played 14 snaps. So last game, he lost the role to Mason Tipton. Maybe this week, if Tipton were to fuck up early, they go to Wilson Moore, or maybe they just go to Wilson Moore because of it being a game against KC where you don't have the luxury of playing a rookie like Tipton. But Wilson as a flex play under 5%. Not the worst thing in the world. Is this the day Olave beats the 20-point ceiling allegations? Maybe. I mean, it's tough because the production's really chopped up pretty aggressively between him and Shaheed. I mean, the target share, he's getting less targets per game than Shaheed right now, 6.3 compared to 6. Target per out run is favoring Shaheed as well, 29% compared to 26.4%. Olave can get there, but it's like every metric favors Shaheed. He's getting more air yards per target, 16 air yards per target, 1.8 deep targets a game, 1.5 red zone targets a game. Meanwhile, Olave getting 1 deep target a game, 0.8 red zone targets a game, 9.9 air yards per target. So like if you had Olave's usage on another team, it would be good. The tough part is like he keeps getting priced ahead of Shaheed, but Shaheed's numbers overall look better. The projection looks similar enough. So I certainly have no issue going to Olave captain, but still a good amount of ownership going there. And Shaheed's going to be a little bit lower. So I'd probably go Shaheed if he's a lower owned option. Anything else to note here? Yeah, really nothing too crazy, I guess. Good amount of worthy ownership, not that crazy. Good amount of Kareem Hunt ownership. Really, I don't think that crazy. It seems like he sees that workload for himself with Carson Steele, immediately proving he's not a guy to bank on. So it's basically that. Let's go over to the solver here. We can see ETR's projections as well. Their top projected players. Let me go look at the flex. Alvin Kamara, number 1 for them as well. Mahomes, number 2. A little bit crazy to see him with this high projection, given that, again, Mahomes doesn't get over 20 fantasy points that often. Just something that I noticed last year. Stopped playing KC stacks quite as much other than in playoff best ball. Mahomes, just the upside's not that high as a low ADOT passer who generally is splitting some touchdowns with the running backs, whatever running backs are in there. I think Mahomes, to me, I hate Mahomes on most slates. On showdowns, he gets so highly owned, and it's going to be a lot of ownership of that projection on him. Kelsey, they also have a pretty big gap between him, Mahomes, and Kamara. So same thing as Stochastic there. Olave at number 4 with a 14.2 projection. Derek Carr, 13.5. And Shaheed again at 13.2. So odd to see Shaheed less projected in pretty much on the both sites here. 2 of the major sites where people are going to be using to build lineups today. But that seems to be the case here. Shaheed's had better work on the year, but I assume the historical numbers favoring Olave a little bit more over Shaheed. Let's build 25 lineups here. What we're going to do here, we have no settings on it. Basically, what we're going to see is just like what the Sims believe or what the optimizer believes the math's going to push people towards. So what the projections are telling people are going to be the best plays. This lineup right here, the top cash game option right now. We got Kamara, Patrick Mahomes, Travis Kelce, Rashid Shaheed, Juju, Juwan Johnson here. So 3-3 build. Kamara at captain. Nothing really unexpected. Certainly going to be highly owned as well, but that would be your cash game lineup right now that I just read out loud. Overall, amidst these top 25, seeing a lot of 3-3 splits, it looks like. Not too much on the 5-1 side. Let's look down here and see what we get. So right now, in 100% of these 25 lineups, you're getting Travis Kelce, Alvin Kamara, and Patrick Mahomes. You are also getting more Rashid Shaheed than Chris Olave. So despite the fact that Olave projects better, Shaheed with the salary and the projection, I guess, coming up a little bit more cleanly. Give me Butker and Groupie. Butker down here in the optimizer coming in 8% of the time. Groupie not even making the top 25 lineups with no boosts on it. So there you go. But right away, again, on Showdown videos, what we talk about is the first thing you do. And a big part of why the optimizer is an important part of the process, even if you don't use an optimizer to build your lineups, is just seeing right away that, hey, 100% of lineups are going to have Kelce, Kamara, and Mahomes tonight. Or 100% are like, that's what the projections would want you to have just straight away. So as a result, that means that more people than not tonight will be playing these 3 as part of the lineup. Likely with Kamara at captain, I guess, but could be any of them at captain is really the main point here. These 3 guys get in every lineup. So the one thing you could do right away, play none of the 3 guys on a lineup. It's going to get you on a pretty individual pathway. You somehow can find a way for that to hit and for the game to work out for you. Obviously, I do expect Kelce and Kamara to be close to making the lineup. Mahomes less so. You could fade one of the 3 as well to get the ownership product down. Basically, the Kelce, Kamara, Patrick Mahomes triumvirate there is going to pop up in a lot of different places. All right, let's go to the sim. Let's run this here on Stochastic. Not going to do it on the solver today because got to make good time here, unfortunately. But let's run this out. Context generator. We're going to do is build 10,000 lineups on Stochastic. And also, I forgot to put up the solver plug because I'm flustered today. Solver, check it out. Link in the description. The tool we just used. Stochastic's the one we're going to use right now. Of course, you get data for yourself. You can get the sims, whatever you want here. The single lineup generator as well. Lots of great tools on Stochastic. Check it out. Link in the description. And now that we're 15 minutes in, I can tell you guys, Came home yesterday from the wedding, found, so after 2 weeks after my dog Penny, we had to put down, my 20-year-old cat, Nilla, turns 20 next month. She had a seizure yesterday when I came home. She's going down today. So I am on the run of a lifetime. It's the worst run to somebody's 40th birthday in my life. So I could say it now, they're 15 minutes in. I don't want to put in the intro and be the depressing fucking DFS show where the host is going through a new trauma every day. But I'm fucking going through a new trauma every day, guys. So please hit the like button. Please subscribe. Please show some love here because I don't want to do a show. But I do want to make sure I'm here for you guys. That's what my role is. That's what my appeal is being here frequently. But I'm just fucking going through it. I cannot believe my luck. Appreciate our guy Robert Griffin III too, going through some stuff in his life as well. But yeah, both of them at one burst, both of them in half a month is like the least good feeling in the world. But I appreciate you guys. I don't want to not pull up anybody's chats, but yeah, man, it's hard. These have been especially Nilla's. Nilla's been with me since I was a junior in college. I was going through a breakup at the time. Was actually got her with my then ex-girlfriend. She fucked me over, stuck me with Elise. Brought home Nilla, in a box of Nilla wafers. Had her. She was my girl. She was like my rock during that time period. She has been with me to New York, LA, back again. So it's tough, man. It's tough. And I'm somebody who loves animals a lot. So like they mean a lot to me. You guys mean a lot to me too. But like having my girls has been like my defining thing in life. It's been like the one bedrock. So that's the name of the game. We give the love. We all go through it. I appreciate it, guys. But there we go. That's how we fill time when the sim is going. We talk about the latest depressing things in my life. One day, though, boy, the run good's going to be so sick when the run bad for me, when the run bad stops. But my man, it's something else. Kamara, Olave, Derek Carr, Kareem Hunt. I still keep on track with content, though, so don't worry about that part. Kamara, Olave, Carr, Kareem Hunt, Mason Tipton, and Saints. So getting the ownership product down with Mason Tipton here. Makes sense. Leaving 1,300 on the table also makes sense as well. So good ways to do that. Thank you, Tyler. Very generous of Tyler to do that. I appreciate you for it. Let's get there $5 at a time, gang. Let's have the PBS fundraiser for the fucking saddest DFS host in the world. But shout out Tyler. I appreciate you, buddy. Thank you for that. Travis Kelce, number 2 at captain. Alvin Kamara, Blake Groupie, Juwan Johnson, Kareem Hunt, and Patrick Mahomes. So Cass gets a 250% ROI on that one. If I had to guess that one, I think that one gets duped more than 0. I think that one has a little more ownership than 0 because you're not fading the top 3. You're not fading one of Kelce, Kamara, Mahomes. Putting Kelce at captain, I think, is the way to get the lowest owned. But Groupie, Juwan Johnson, those guys are just players in the rotation. You're leaving $100 on the table. It's not the way you get unique on a slate like this. Alvin Kamara, number 3 here. Kamara, Olave, Derek Carr, Juju, Saints, Samaje Perine. Perine, the workload's been going down. He certainly could take work away from Kareem Hunt. But yeah, there we go. Oh man, sorry to hear pre too. I guess we're all going there. That's the main thing. We all go through it. We're all going through it. And I think as men, especially, like I'll say it real fast before we hop back into lineups, it's important to be vulnerable about the stuff. It's important to be yourself about the stuff. It's important to not tuck the feelings away. I know we're in 2024. We don't do that as much, but that's why for me on stream, look, if I go through it, I tell you guys that you see me every day. You hopefully know me as a human being. Sometimes people get weird about it and they're like, oh, like even when I'm not going through it, people are like, oh, like, are you okay? I'm like, I'm fucking fine, man. But like when I'm going through it here, I'll be honest about it. And for you guys too, it's important to be honest with yourselves, where just let yourselves feel the pain, let yourselves feel the stress, the whatever you have. But that's my advice to somebody turning 40 and fucking losing everything. The misery Olympics. Yeah, there are no misery Olympics. All pain matters. Alvin Kamara, Chris Olave, Derek Carr, Juju Smith-Schuster, Saints, D, Samaje Perine, who read that one. Travis Kelce, Alvin Kamara, Chiefs, Mason Tipton, Mahomes, Xavier Worthy. So basically, Sims were saying Kamara, Kelce up top, Mason Tipton as a way to get the lower owned lineup, or Samaje, Juju, but nothing too crazy here. Number 5, another Kelce lineup. Kelce, Kamara, Harrison, Butker, Mason Tipton, Patrick Mahomes, Rashid Shaheed. So those are your top 5 RO lineups. If you want to take them straight away, you can. Really feel like there needs to be a little more salary on the table here. I don't think these are unique enough, to be honest. This one is close. Top one is close. But this one where you're leaving 500, this one you're leaving 100, this one you're leaving 300. I don't see it quite as much. Totally true, Spags. No shame on leaning on friends and family need it. That's true. And look, yeah, again, just letting yourself feel stuff. I think as men, that's like always the worst thing for people of various generations, but especially the older generations. Top ROI lineups right now, though. We don't need to talk about mental health the entire time. We got Mason Tipton, captain. He has a 22% ROI. I don't think so. Like I'm not with it, but look, the Sims are the Sims. We know how it goes. Mason Tipton, a captain, at least worth some shots. You're playing a 150 max. You're playing a 20 max, maybe less so. You're playing one entry. I guess that's your way to go full lottery ticket mode, but I don't see it that much. Explain the money left over thing. If you don't leave a lot of money on the table, you need to have really unique players within it. Basically, the fact that like people are putting in 150 entries over and over again off projections, they're going to find every combination that's a high salary. So like when I'm building lineups in the solver initially, I'll leave $5 on the table straight away and just take the best lineups that aren't that. Because usually you're not able to get unique enough on anything with a 49.5 or higher salary. It's possible, like there's sometimes a play, like a 1% play that's there, but usually they're too thin to actually make it work. So in reality, for showdowns, most lineups over 49.5 just aren't worth playing. Unless you're playing 150 max, and it's like, then the EV calculation changes where if this lineup splits 50 ways, it could still be worth it for you in part of a 150 max. But for you as a player where you're just trying to hit in a tournament, trying to take something down, you don't want to play those lineups where you have, 20 or more dupes. You want to play outcomes where you are the one where if you win, if your outcome comes right, you get everything in it. You win everything with it. So that's sort of the goal here. All this love makes me moist. There we go. Had to get the word moist in there, but I appreciate it. Watching Pete on a heater is just as helpful and worth my stream as you honestly doing the work and talking about the run bad life stuff. Glad to have both. Right? Yeah. Pete's fucking winning 5K a clip every week, but fuck battle royales. So. This is an underdog show. Like, come on, win a big DFS tournament. Then we're talking. But he is crushing. I'm obviously poo-pooing as in the way a friend would. But yeah, look, it's all about the balance of life here. You got to take the good with the bad. It's everything. Kelsey, top ROI. So both Mason Tipton's real fast. Tipton, top ROI guy in the flex, in the captain. That's it. Kelsey, also coming up a lot at captain as a top ROI, 5% ROI for him. Everybody else in the slate that's not Mason Tipton in either slot or Kelsey at captain. All these guys are not positive ROI players. Exposures overall, though. We got some Mahomes that you're getting 50% in the pool. The Sims want you to get 53%. So not really a stand there, holding hands with the field on Mahomes in the flex. Kareem Hunt, they wanted to get more than the field here, 47% compared to 31% in the pool's ownership. Travis Kelce, 45% compared to 40%, so a little bit more there. Kamara in the flex, they wanted to go under the field on. I guess the assumption would be if you're playing Kamara, play him in a way that he's going to crush, play him at captain. So I can live with that too, though. I think playing him in the flex, you're certainly getting the ownership down a little bit, given the fact Kamara's going to be played about 25% of the time at captain. Alvin Kamara at captain being played 39% of the time compared to 23% in the flex. So there you go. That's the difference. They shaved a little bit off here from Kamara in the flex and put it towards Kamara at captain. So very heavy Kamara captain, a little bit low Kamara flex. Derek Carr flex, dead even. Chiefs flex, 5% more in the field. Nothing that crazy here. Kelsey more at captain, 21% compared to 13%. Tell you what, Mahomes at captain, less in the field. So the sim at least agrees with me on that. 14% compared to 16%. Let's look at some different captains here. I want to make sure I'm giving you guys a thorough look and hopefully not miss any steps along the way. Of course, we will hand build one after this and sim it out. Let's go with captain equals, let's look at Kamara. We saw a few Kamara ones. Let's see if there's any unique ones here. So Kamara captain leaving 1,300 again. If you're going to play a chalk captain, guys that are known quantities, you do want to leave a little more salary on the table. So that line with Kamara, Olave, Derek Carr, Kareem Hunt, Mason Tipton, and Saints makes sense. This one, another 1,300. Kamara, Blake Groupie, Olave, Derek Carr, Watson, Saints. So a 5-1 build where your only bring back is Justin Watson is a little bit thin. What was Watson's snap count last week? Justin Watson played 43 snaps last week for comparison's sake. Juju played 32. Worthy played 45. All right, so Watson played a full allotment of snaps, but he's in both these builds. It's pretty tough. God, every time I see a text, I'm worried it's my wife texting me that the cat has passed. We're okay for right now. Kamara, though, this one I think would be the best. Watson in a 5-1 feels tough. Usually in a 5-1, you want like an alpha receiver coming back. Watson is getting the snap count. The actual target share has not been there for multiple years as the Chiefs, so it's a little bit hard to love that. Kamara, Chiefs D, Hunt, Mason Tipton, Mahomes, Kelsey. So a Chiefs 4-2 with Kamara at captain? Not so sure about that. How much Noah Gray is happening? Let's see. I had to guess, not a lot. 19% compared to 17% in the flex. There's like having Wiley there makes Noah Gray enough of a non-play to me that I wouldn't want to be there, but it's a showdown. So I don't think Noah Gray captain would ever win you, but Noah Gray in the flex, being flat with the field, that's about all you want. Other captains to look at here. Let's look at Captain Olave. Yeah, just trying to play a build where the Saints win is, I think, what I'm going to try to do tonight. Probably only putting in one lineup because I don't want to, because the vet's coming at 5 to 6 to deal with Nilla, so probably not going to be in the best headspace to do a batch of lineups tonight. But we got Olave, Kamara, Derek Carr, Harrison Butker, Kareem Hunt, Mason Tipton. Getting lower owned with Tipton, I guess you could live with in a 49-8 build. Only 2 Chiefs, one of whom's Harrison Butker. You're fading Kelsey, you're fading Mahomes. So for Adam's earlier question, this would be one where you have the salary a little bit higher, but I think you're doing enough to get low owned here, where if you play like a 49-8 salary, you have Mahomes in there, you have Kelsey in there, you have Kamara in there, you're just going to be, I think, holding hands with a lot of the field. It's half your lineup that are going to be forcing the lineups more than people want. Or, as much, they want him a ton too, because of the projections being so high. The point being, like, if you're going to play a higher salary option, this is it, where less Chiefs, you're not doing kind of a 3-3 build. You are getting mostly guys that are known quantities besides Tipton, I guess, getting low ownership with Olave at captain. You're fading Mahomes, fading Kelsey, again, fading 2 of the big levers on the slate. That's the kind of lineup you'd play with a higher salary. This one's 50K flat. This one I would think, this one I would feel the opposite about. You're fading Mahomes, so you have Olave at captain, Kamara, Derek Carr, Jamal Williams, Juwan Johnson, Travis Kelsey. It being a 5-1 Saints build would make it a little bit lower owned, but a 50K salary, I think, is more likely to get duped than not. Worthy captain, let me go look at that, I guess. Well, let me look at Shaheed, and don't look at Worthy. So Shaheed with Groupie, Derek Carr, Patrick Mahomes, Saints, Travis Kelsey. Shaheed with Kamara, Carr, Hunt, Mason Tipton, Kelsey. Shaheed with Kamara, Carr, Mason Butker, Noah Gray, Kelsey. So all the Shaheed lineups, it seems, are going to have some amount of dupes. When Stochastic tells you 1 dupe, in my experience, that usually means like 10 to 20 dupes. 0 dupes means 1 to 10 dupes. It's not a perfect 1-to-1 with what the field's going to have. So it seems like the highest owned captain lines for Shaheed are going to be, or the highest ROI lines rather, are going to be in a little bit of a train, if not more of a train. Chiefs D captain? I don't. Also, Derek Carr. Okay. Yeah, I don't know about that. We can look at it. Let's look up the Worthy stuff. Xavier Worthy, Alvin Kamara, Chiefs D, Foster Moreau, Kareem Hunt, and Patrick Mahomes. Xavier Worthy, Alvin Kamara, Blake Groupie, Kareem Hunt, McCole Hardman, Patrick Mahomes. Well, at least no dupes on it, so a little bit less so to go to Worthy at captain. And I would say going to Worthy at captain fits the 5.5 point spread build more than anything we've looked at so far. So I think I could live with these. Worthy, Kamara, you're leaving some money on the table too. Worthy, Kamara, Moreau, Juju, Patrick Mahomes, Travis Kelsey. Yeah, I don't know. I think for me, I feel pretty okay about most of this stuff here with Worthy. Not the biggest Worthy fan in the world, but it really only takes a couple big plays for him to get there. I feel a little bit better at him if we were in New Orleans, I guess. Playing on turf would give him a little bit of a boost. But you have Kelsey's going to be in every line. Mahomes going to be in every lineup. Worthy at captain, fading Kelsey. It's a logical move. Hard to do a lineup when you're a fan of 1 or 2 teams. You got to fucking separate that shit out, man. Your fandom shouldn't matter. Though I'm as guilty of as anything, given the fact that I play Jaden Daniels every single week, no matter what the ownership is. But if you're a fan of stuff, play the outcome you don't believe in, because all the other fans of the team are probably going to play what your initial instinct is. All right, so Juju, Kamara, Olave, Harrison Butker, Kareem Hunt, Patrick Mahomes. Tell you what, that's pretty unique. I don't think Juju has enough snaps to feel good about. But if he were to hit and score enough points for you, it would take a 2-touchdown game and probably like 70 yards at least for him to get there, even at his price tag. But I think this one fits. If you're going to not play a Saints upset, going something like Juju, going something like, as gross as it might be, Justin Watson, captain, feels thin. Watson with Kamara, Patrick Mahomes, Saints D, Travis Kelsey, Xavier Worthy. Watson with Kamara, Derek Carr, Patrick Mahomes, Rashid Shaheed, Saints. You're able to get a lot of the team in, still leave salary on the table. I don't think Watson can really hit his captain, but again, for a 150 set, I think that makes a little more sense. One that would make maybe the most sense, because it's like the easiest way to fade Kelsey and Mahomes, would be Kareem Hunt at captain. And again, it fits the Vegas total as well. So Kareem Hunt at captain, Chiefs D, Patrick Mahomes, Rashid Shaheed, Samaje Perine, Travis Kelsey, a 5-1. People are probably not going to play Hunt with Perine. Would be the logical assumption there. You're still getting the good chalk in here with Kelsey and Mahomes. You are fading Kamara, but again, the game script, if it gets away from Kamara, that's how Shaheed makes it in. So that's that. We just looked at Olave and captain. If you scroll back, that was like the first one I looked at. But Olave Carr can hit. I mean, again, you have to remember, like, it's sort of like the Bengals yesterday, where the Bengals, I feel like, pushed the pass game into action more than they ever had because they know that their defense is going to get killed by the Ravens. For the Saints side of the equation here, like, they're going to try to push it on offense right away because the assumption is that the Chiefs will put up production against them. So I think playing a build like with Olave, or having Olave and Carr in weekly winners, but having them in general here, no matter what, like, they're going to probably try to produce more than expected unless the game gets out of hand fast and like they're shutting down the Chiefs offense in a meaningful way, but it's not the most likely thing to happen. These Hunt captain builds, though, I think are kind of appealing. Hunt, Kamara, Chiefs, Juju, Mahomes, Worthy. Basically saying these guys get some shots, but Kareem Hunt's the one finishing drives. Butker, given that the Saints D has been kind of tight, I don't mind. Butker captain. Butker probably better play in the flex, but Butker captain with Olave, Derek Carr, Noah Gray, Mahomes, and Kelsey. I don't know. Mahomes in a lineup where you have the kicker captain, I'd be pretty fast to take him out if I could. Even though the kicker does hurt the running back a little bit more, because if you're kicking a field goal, you're not punching in a touchdown for the RB, which they need to get there. Butker, Kamara, Kareem Hunt, Noah Gray, Patrick Mahomes, Xavier Worthy. So you're getting direct leverage on Kelsey with this one by going Noah Gray's way. Butker, Kamara, Juju, Kareem Hunt, Patrick Mahomes, Xavier Worthy. All right. Those are your Butker captains. Anybody else we should look at? I guess we could look at one groupie captain just for, I would say it would be for funsies, because I don't think groupie is actually inherently funsies in any way. Blake Groupie, Alvin Kamara, Chiefs, Kareem Hunt, Patrick Mahomes, Travis Kelsey. So Chiefs D gets stops, maybe gets a turnover, I guess. Really would have to give up no touchdowns. It would have to be a thing. I guess that's why they make it, is because Blake Groupie's kicking in so many field goals that the Saints aren't scoring touchdowns. Groupie, Kamara, Kareem Hunt, Patrick Mahomes, Saints D, Xavier Worthy. Groupie, Kamara, Juju, Patrick Mahomes, Rashid Shaheed, Xavier Worthy. Tell you what, man, I know people love Mahomes. Just take Mahomes out of the player pool and see what you get. I think is one approach to have on this slate. Not that you have to do it exactly the way that I would do it, but Mahomes just doesn't score that many points. In the flex, he gets in there, whatever, it's fine. But like playing him at captain, I just don't think he has it anymore to that level. Like, not that he doesn't have it, but I just don't think that's the way they want to play. Like, we've had this signal for now a year and change. That's not how they want to play. And I kind of firmly believe that. Chiefs are by far the worst team in the NFL, giving up fantasy production to the tight ends. Is this a Juwan captain viable? I mean, it's a good matchup. 0.3 or actually 0.26 EPA per target allowed to tight end, 13% tight end target rate. The issue is that Juwan split snaps with Moreau still too much. We talked about Juwan getting to 40 snaps last week. Juwan played 50 snaps last week. Moreau played 42. So Moreau's out there enough. I think Juwan in the flex makes more sense, but for the big money tournaments for the lottery, playing Juwan at captain, I think, is fine. Better real life player than fantasy. I mean, I think our friend Fareed Shaheed, who won BBM on Juwan Johnson's back, would probably disagree with you. He does have big upside, but the issue is that tight end targets in the red zone have not been a thing for him so far with this new offense under Clint Kubiak. 0 red zone targets so far in the year for Juwan Johnson. And you do kind of want to see that he's a part of it. But like 1.5 targets a game, 12% target per out run. It's not good for him. And if I had to guess, the big beneficiary of having Taysom Hill not in there, it's probably Alvin Kamara. So, and to a lesser extent, Jamal Williams. So I'm not sold on it. But let's build a lineup here. Of course, we'll do 3 takeaways at the end of the video. Captain. So who's the captain? The issue for me is, like, I do think a Saints dominant build makes sense. That said, the Saints are playing well against deep balls, so it's not like a lock-worthy spot. Only a 22% completion rate. Negative 0.3 EPA on throws to 20-plus air yards. Saints deflecting passes deep 39% of the time, too. So that could actually, they could get a pick on a deep play and take it back. Saints deflecting a lot of passes overall, actually. If you play the Saints upset, I think playing Saints D with it wouldn't be crazy. Look, my heart says Saints win this, and I think I got to do that. I'm going to go the route, though, Carr captain. You guys might not agree with it. As we've seen from basically the entire time I've drafted best ball teams, I'm in the bag for Derek Carr. Granted, it was because of his ADP in those tournaments. And granted, I did not get it right stacking up with cheap Juwan Johnson as well so many times in best ball. But I think Carr here, if Shaheed hits and Olave hits somewhat equally, I think that's how Carr makes it at captain. So I'm going to do that. I'm going to put in Shaheed, Carr, Olave. Would think in a build like this, Kamara's still probably doing well. So you do well enough to make a lineup. He's got to beat out Mahomes. I think he beats out Mahomes. I'm putting Kamara in. Oh, we're not going to have money for Kareem Hunt, are we? No, we do not have enough money for Kareem Hunt then. Do we have enough money for Butker? Or we can get Butker in and have $800 on the table. And then we're in like, we can't even get Mason Tipton on this lineup. This is tough. We'd have to give up Kamara, I guess. Maybe Jamal punches one in instead of Kamara. We could then forego Kamara's PPR points in this build. I'm just curious how this sims out. So a 5-1 build with Harrison Butker as your bring back, basically saying the Saints offense fails today. Nobody gets there. Butker kicks enough field goals in, scores 15 to 20. That's enough to make the lineup for us. I don't know if it's going to sim well, but this, to me, if you're going to play a Saints-dominant approach, leaving 5,400 on the table, it's a low projection, though. It's 64.2. Stochastic projection was so low on Carr. This is going to be bad. They hate Carr too much. Projections will not want you to play Carr today, if I had to guess. Do I have the data on Mahomes' turnover-worthy plays read somewhere? It's really high. I don't. His catchable ball rate to be the closest I have, which is fine at 69%. I don't track stuff like that, though, because I tend to think that puts you on stuff more that you don't actually need. I don't know. It's not the kind of thing I would try to stress about too much. I think the Saints being low-owned, Saints being a way to show that, like, you're playing a build, the Saints win is more what I would worry about than Mahomes having turnover-worthy plays. But if I had to guess, it's not that high. He's throwing pretty high catchable ball rate. He's not doing poorly in terms of EPA metrics. He's not fucking up egregiously. But, yeah, that's a PFF stat. Pay for PFF, sorry. Thanks, Jack. I appreciate it. I try not to dwell on it today because, like, fucking twice in 2 weeks is not the best content in the world, but we persevere. As always, I'm going to try to switch Olave and Shaheed. Or let's put Shaheed at captain. Let's see what this does. So Shaheed. So maybe you still need to put a pass catcher no matter what to get Carr into a lineup. It's a really bad ROI for Carr at captain. PFF is a dumb website. PFF is getting worse by the year. If you're going to pay for something, I guess Fantasy Points might have it too. I don't pull in all the Fantasy Points data, unfortunately, but if you want to go get 25% off on Fantasy Points data, cheaper than PFF, and I think a lot of people agree it's better. They have the separation stats as well that are pretty popular right now. Of course, the ass talk. See, like, this is the part I hate about the hand builder. Like, so Showdown, whatever, anything can fucking win. It just comes down to the game script, how it works out. I don't want to play towards that I don't think that's true. See, you were right about the first comment, then this is a conspiracy theory leap that's not really accurate. Like, what I don't want to build a team. Like, if they're gonna build a Saints dominant one, the sim would want you to put like Kamara and some shit, if I had to guess. So it'd be Kamara captain, maybe Carr still makes the lineup. I don't think you can fit in Shaheed and Olave. See what is happening. We're not going to have enough money for anything if we put in Shaheed and Olave here. So Kamara at captain, Derek Carr and Shaheed creating some production around that. Kamara salting the game away. Butker kicking field goals because the Saints aren't punching it in. Xavier Worthy gets some big plays. So get leverage on Kelsey. At least with $900 fucking dollars. Shaheed and Juwan. Let's take out Worthy and put in Juwan and see what that gets us. Really think Butker. I think Butker makes the lineup. I think Butker makes your winning lineup tonight. With that price point, I don't know. Is he going to get overplayed? I'm looking at Butker's ownership real fast in another window. Butker 25.5 projected 2% at captain. That's not that much. All right, we got 7,700 for one more player. Leave money on the table. Go P. Ryan over Hunt. Just check the RB snaps real fast for KC last week. Hunt got to 29. Oh, it's Hunter Lupi. Never mind. Sorry. Kareem Hunt got to, there's too many fucking guys named Hunter. 28 snaps for Kareem Hunt last week. Steele got to 11. And that's probably about where he's going to be moving forward if you had to guess. P. Ryan got to 25. I can live with playing P. Ryan over Hunt. Now let's sim this here. So playing from behind build, P. Ryan getting checkdowns. I would take that over. I would definitely take that over. I think the Saints clamped down on him on their side of the field. I think. Saints D has been impressive. Negative 24%. I just can't put up a positive ROI on this. I just don't want to play Mahomes and Kelsey. And this lineup is like insisting you play Mahomes and Kelsey. I would take, let's see what happens if we put Kelsey in with the base of everything else. Okay, that'll leave us 4,500. Can't afford Butker anymore. Could afford Justin Watson. Sims did seem to like Justin Watson. Yeah, P. Ryan for a trailing script, I agree, is a good play. I don't. Matt Derrick SD Hunt is starting tonight too. I don't know what that means. what if Matt Derrick SD Hunt? Hunt I assume refers to Kareem there. There we go. All right, Kamara, Derek Carr, Shaheed, Kelsey, Juwan, Watson, still negative 5%. I just don't think the stochastic sims want you to play Saints dominant builds, which means that the Saints upset this one tonight. People are not going to be playing it enough. So, look, in my mind, I think the Saints win this one. I personally do believe that playing Saints just gets you lower owned. Could Kelsey trend line on usage pushing up his sim rate? It would just be in the projection, I think is really it. All right, guys, 3 takeaways here to get unique. Then we're going to hop off and I can go hang out with the cat before we do this stuff. Number 1 would be not playing one of Mahomes, Alvin Kamara, Travis Kelsey. Those 3 come up in every lineup right now. So right away, when you see those guys come up in every lineup, find a way to play it uniquely or just leave them out. Leave 1 of the guys out. Leave 2 of the guys out. Leave 3 of the guys out. If you do that, you're on an island. Now, obviously, they're highest projected players in the slate, so you have to be mindful of that. Play ways then that they don't make a lineup if you're not playing them. But basically, with those 3 guys in, just try to make it so max 1 of 3, max 2 of 3. Just play some different lineups to see what you get. But I think not playing those guys quite as much can be an important part of the slate right away. Number 2 on this one, I didn't feel like kicker was well represented in terms of the optimizer off the projections, and I do think that one of Butker and Groupie make it. Now, granted, it feels like recency bias because the fact kickers keep making lineups pretty much every slate. But I guess I don't think one did yesterday, so I think that'd be the first one in a while because Aubrey didn't get there, and Boswell didn't either. So maybe people play less kickers because it just didn't hit yesterday, but kickers have been great all year. Kickers have been doing well. For whatever reason, kickers are reliable now past 50 a lot more. KC, not a perfect situation like it would be to play in New Orleans. But I think playing more Butker, playing more Groupie, I still think that's a way to get unique that I think does make a winning lineup. Number 3 way to get unique, I think it's just not playing balanced. Even if it's Chiefs dominant stuff, again, the Chiefs are a 5.5-point favorite. So Vegas total would support playing more Chiefs dominant stuff. But it feels like you're getting a lot of like 3-3 kind of builds, 4-2s, but like 4-2s where the 2 players are superstar players and the 4 players are a mix. Like I think you're getting a lot of balance here. So just trying to play something dominant. The game should be competitive, I think. Like I think if the Saints win, I don't think they win in like a boat race kind of game. I think they win by clamping down. The Chiefs keep moving the ball, get in position, don't have anything happen when they get into position besides a field goal. So to me, I think no matter what, like just playing more dominant builds is going to be helpful. If you do play the Saints upset, especially Saints upset without Kamara at captain, I think you're getting more unique than you'd probably be otherwise. I don't know if I buy a 5.5-point spread. Maybe the Chiefs D is really that good. Like the market total is a market total. That's the whole thing. You should use market data for is like, that's the thing. So you expect half the time the Chiefs win by 5.5 or more than that. Half the time they win by less than that. And that includes all the outcomes with the Saints winning. So kind of play that accordingly in your head, play it out. But there you go, guys. That's our video. So I'm back on the grind this week, even though this is going to be another week where I'm just like kind of going through it. The reasons we talked about having to fucking lose a cat or losing a dog. I'm turning 40 in fucking 13 days. I'm fucking losing pets left and right. Everything is tough right now. That's why I keep showing up and doing the work. Same thing for you guys. Just keep showing up and doing the work no matter what it is in your life. And if you want to do the work here in gambling, Stochastic, 15% off. Great way to support the show as I try to build the channel to something where I can do this show more regularly, maybe even do more content and make it a full focus of what I'm doing. So support the show with Stochastic. Link in the description, get 15% off. It's the only discount they have going. Solver, check it out as well. Link in the description for that to get on the Solver. A little bit cheaper to play in the Solver, but you get ETR's data, get the Sims. That works pretty well. And of course, you can optimize on there. So more hand control on the Solver, more just getting lineups on Stochastic and then figuring out what you want to do with them. That's kind of the push-pull of those two sites. Underdog, bonus cash on there, still $1,000. Use promo code SPLASH. For some reason, you're watching this for DFS. You don't play pick'ems and stuff. Go play pick'ems and Underdog. Check that out. And of course, subscribe down below, hit the like button. We're so close to 4K subs. And I know if I keep coming on streams depressed due to the things I love in my life dying, I know eventually we're not going to get there. So please, you want to make my day, subscribe down below, hit the like button. Let's get to 4K so we can fucking move on another crawl, another death crawl to 5K subs. We're going to keep pushing here no matter what. Follow me at Chris Spags. Follow the show at Splash Play Pie. Here's the money time thing. Gamble responsibly too. And I'll be back tomorrow. Best ball show coming back tomorrow. So we'll see how we do with this slate tonight. Hopefully Derek Carr goes nuts. Helps my advance rate a little bit more before tomorrow. I'll see you guys then. No matter what you're doing, no matter what you're playing tonight, I wish you good luck. And I'll see you guys soon. So good luck. I hate when I do the good luck thing twice. But good luck, good luck, good luck. Bye-bye.